Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to the next block. We're on episode 122. This is a post-election show. A lot of things have been happening this week. It's been really crazy. I'm doing good over here. How you doing, Crypto for Change?
I'm doing pretty good, doing pretty good. The post-election market rip has been fun to watch, entertaining to see. Yet to be seen if this is it, right? Is this where Bitcoin starts its run to 80, 100K, and we get the start or the ascension of the blow off top starting to happen? Or is there something else waiting in the wings to shock everybody?
I think something else mixed with Bitcoin going to 85,000. So it was crazy. I'm sitting here at the house and then I saw Bitcoin pumping. I was like, oh shit, about to hit an all-time high. I was like, I need to make a short. So I'm watching my phone, just waiting to, snap a screenshot.
Yeah.
Then it hit, and I was like, oh, then it hit, and then I snapped about 3 or 4 of them because it just kept going. And then I finally made my short. After I posted my short, it went up another $1,000.
Yeah. I think what's the highest it's hit, like 76,000 at this point?
I think it was 76. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
yeah. I definitely, obviously, I thought the most interesting thing about the elections was that Polymarket, which is the betting platform for the political cycle this year, was very accurate leading through the elections, especially because during the whole process, I was actually Googling, I was watching it too, just on Google, like as the votes were rolling in, but everything I was Googling was just saying it's a tight race. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't see anything showing Trump winning at all. Most everything I saw was, and this is just off of a basic Google search, was just Kamala leading in most swing states, or it was saying neck and neck, right? All the way through
A lot
the
of them were
entire
close.
night.
He won a lot of them kind of close.
Yeah, right, he did, but it was just funny that Polymarket was just like the odds, right? Right, I think when Bitcoin started to pump, the odds on Polymarket were just starting to go from 60% Trump to 70, 80, 90. And even when they were above 90, most everyone was still saying, "Oh, it's not done yet. We're still going to see the big blue wave come through at the end, like we did last time." And obviously, that didn't happen. And that's when Bitcoin continued to pump through the night and crushed those new all-time highs. And I think that just speaks to, not to say that crypto people were the deciding factor. I don't really think that's the case. I definitely think it. So. I definitely think it helped the Republican ticket and Trump win the nomination. But I think there was many other reasons outside of just crypto why Trump ended up defeating Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can't, because crypto was a single issue and there was a lot more important things going on. Because if you look at all the debates, even like the Joe Rogan podcast, anything that was really the big stuff, no one talked about crypto. That was like, we wanted them to talk about crypto. So, inflation, border, all the other things are actually way more important. But for crypto Twitter, it was like, we did it, y'all.
Yeah, I know, right? It was, and you really felt that, like, that energy kind of shift. People started posting the memes of Gary Gensler getting fired, and AI stuff started taking over, showing him crying, reading the paper. It's like, because at that point we started to see, hey, maybe with Trump there is a clearer path to regulation, because even all the way up until the election, Kamala still had not come through on any clear stance on crypto, and at least from my opinion, it hadn't seemed very confident. And so I think that's why you had the reaction on X and certain social media platforms from the crypto side. But it definitely does. It should be exciting to see. I was actually saying right before we started to go live, I saw a post today that said it's actually maybe better if Gary Gensler were to resign than if he gets fired, because apparently if he resigns, then Trump could possibly nominate 3 different positions within the SEC, that whole kind of like hierarchy, I guess. Whereas if he's fired, then he'd only be able to replace Gensler, and maybe there'd still be some contention underneath him or within that cabinet on maybe getting things done. But needless to say, I think it's a win-win, because hopefully we'll get clear regulation for those in the crypto space, those wanting to build crypto focused companies on US soil and things like that. I think the only sad thing that did stick out to me was the fact that John Deaton didn't beat Elizabeth Warren in the Senate race.
I was just going to bring that up. Like, I wish JT would have came on today. I want to be like, what was y'all doing electing Elizabeth Warren for the third term. Like, why would y'all do that? So listening right now, I need you to answer what happened.
It's a blue state. That's the way I would say it. It's the same thing with like, me being from Kentucky back home. I was thinking about like, Mitch McConnell, right? We had him for so long.
Oh man,
And it's just
dude,
like,
man.
yeah, there's just,
Oh.
it just gets ingrained where honestly they have such a stake and they have so much money and they have so much pull that like it's really hard to dethrone some of these people until they just get to a certain age where you're just like, get out. Like we need younger, newer ideas.
I remember Trump called out Elizabeth Warren because she was saying she was Native American, but she wasn't.
I would. That is the one thing I was like, man, that's a bummer. I was really hoping to see.
Yeah, I was
John Deaton win.
rooting for Deaton.
Yeah, but honestly, who knows? Maybe Trump could still, see that Deaton was a big player and wants to be a big player. Maybe he gets put, somewhere. Maybe Trump could use him in a different vertical, maybe even SEC chair. I've seen a few, Hester Price maybe is the new SEC chair. I've seen a few other recommendations, just kind of getting thrown out there and who could take over. But like I say, it'll be interesting because I want to say, wasn't Gary Gensler elected into the SEC chair during Trump's first term? Right?
Yeah, it was Trump. Yeah,
so
and that's what people forget. It was a lot of stuff did happen with him, but people have a short-term memory because of what they want to see.
And that's
he kept him.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, he brought him in, and everybody was excited when Gary Gensler first got elected because he was from, you had all the
MIT, yeah.
Well, not even just Algorand, but you knew that he understood crypto. Yeah, he understood the crypto, and he understood what Bitcoin was, what Ethereum was. So it was like, oh, we got a guy who actually knows this stuff, so this will be good. And then obviously it was not good. So hopefully, if Trump does replace him, it's a better option.
What's your stance on crypto or Ethereum? I'm as a professional, I can't really say. Did you approve it? Is it legal? I don't.
He's turned into a career politician since being in that spot. So hopefully we get some newer, younger ideas in there who's ready to get the needle moving for the U.S. as far as regulation goes. And just it doesn't even have to be just a full-on green light for everything. Like I get it. There's things in crypto that need to be regulated out that we actually do need to stop. But like there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And what Gensler's been doing has not been the way to do it. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. It's like you got to keep it real. Like when it comes to Bitcoin and Ethereum, give everyone the green light. That's kind of like a no question type of thing. Everybody's on that. But when it comes to like some of these, I'll say like DeFi platforms, we do need to have like some type of way where like you can like register them with the US so the US can have their auditors check it. All of that type of stuff needs to happen. So then you can have a list of approved applications, approved things that people can use. We got Coinbase here, which is doing a lot of the custodial work for big institutions. We need to put them more in the forefront. They have moved Binance out of our forefront. Coinbase is those people. So it's kind of like whatever. We got the base blockchain, things of that nature should just be able to, move on like we want them to anyway.
Yeah. So I got some charts here. Let's pull up. Let's take a look. So obviously, guys, this is the weekly chart right here that we're looking at for Bitcoin. Clean break. Obviously, this was the the week before elections, right? We had that impulsive break up to touch the near all-time highs, and it just got hammered down. Obviously, that candle, if you zoom in, this candle right here is actually kind of bearish. But like we always know when it comes to charting anything, is you got to look for the second candle or the candle that follows to either validate or invalidate that bearishness or bullishness. And this, obviously the elections, this candle for sure is invalidating that bearish candle as long as we can close this week above, where we're at or at where we're at, which I do think Bitcoin can, pending there's nothing, crazy that happens on the macro stage that, could, sweep this down. But so far, Bitcoin looks super bullish on the weekly. Even, if you look down here at the stochastic RSI, I mean, this thing is just now getting into the strength above 80. And the last times when you saw this, right, you're right here, this is right when you saw that bump up, right? You broke out of the 3-month really bear market here, bumped up, and then obviously it was off into the races. So right now, I think we're right there at that spot. Probably gonna bump through, hopefully up to 85K or something, and then we're going to get that slow trend kind of moving up to 100K possibly for the next real chance for a blow off top type scenario kind of happens. Another chart I do want to bring up while we're talking about it. I don't know if you have any thoughts there you want to add.
No, the thought there is that I wish I couldn't find the tweet, but the pro crypto senators talking about, and Trump brought it up too, but the pro crypto senators talking about building a Bitcoin reserve, and then the United States builds a Bitcoin reserve. That's a big buyer, which will be us as the people, via our taxes buying into this asset, so they can make sure that we have a reserve like gold, digital gold, but then that pushes Bitcoin to that 100K.
Yeah. And this next chart, obviously, I know I've been posting this one on my socials, but Bitcoin dominance, right? 60%. Obviously, it came up, it tapped that 60.5 actually. Now we've seen a little bit of a bearish reversal here on this on the weekly chart, right? We're starting to head back down. I'm still not sold though that this thing is done, right? I still think the Bitcoin dominance could easily go up and tap up here around 62% before we really see an alt season start coming in. And I think that could be when Bitcoin gets near 80, 100K, right? I think if it's trading after that and kind of consolidating, I think that's when you could get a big movement from Bitcoin to rolling into Ethereum. And then Ethereum would then obviously after it runs would roll into alts. And the reason why I'm saying that, right? So we know that alt season, right, is coming. And the reason why I'm bullish on this, because we know if we look at, if you've seen that picture that just shows the money flowing through crypto, it starts at Bitcoin, goes to Ethereum, altcoins, altcoins, meme coins, and then cash, and then obviously bear market for a while, and then everything rolls back into Bitcoin. But if you go from here, right, Bitcoin dominance might be topping out, and then you take a look at the ETH to Bitcoin chart. And we literally are hitting right here on this long-term, support, trend, right? Yeah, trend line right here. And so this is really, if you're someone who's in ETH and you're, all the Solana boys have been dogging on you about the fact that Solana's outperformed Ethereum and yada, yada, yada. Hey, if it's not bottoming right now, I think it may trade a little bit sideways into December, and then come January, February, March, you're going to get a very nice pop here from Ethereum. And so I think that's where the true alt season, right? Because, if you look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, when Bitcoin dominance falls, it doesn't mean meme coins and altcoins are just going crazy right then. It means the money's flowing from Bitcoin to bigger projects, right? That are there, that are already established. Your Ethereum, you're probably Solana, you're maybe Cardano, and some of those XRP, a lot of that stuff. So I would expect, and you're looking at the weekly right here, right? You're getting a bullish cross on the stochastic RSI for ETH Bitcoin. Like I said, I think we've hit it, and I think from here on, we are going to see very good price action for Ethereum and for alts going into the year 2025. So super, super exciting from a charting perspective, obviously outside of just any black swan type event or anything crazy outside the macro World War III and, everything everyone fears, was going to destroy their bags. But I think it's a very good spot to start being risk on for things outside of just Bitcoin. And then obviously I know for some of our audience, the one thing they may want to know is, what about algo? And this is where, like you kind of got to have some conviction here, right? I'm not going to, draw any lines on where I think we could go long term. But obviously we've been sitting down here. You could honestly say even a triple bottom, right around here, around 11 cents, and we bounced off. I would assume first spots where you're going to see resistance are again going to be right here around 25 cents upwards of 31. So right here in this window. And then if Algorand can clear that, then I think its next real level of resistance is going to be right up here near 69 cents, which is right where this massive bear market, back in 2022 started. So that's what, I'm seeing from there. I know some people are calling $4, algo. This is what they're doing. They're drawing trend lines from like here, and they're just saying, they're saying $4 like limit. But let's be honest.
I saw somebody realistically was like, you need to turn 13 cents into support.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. You got to start, you
Yeah.
have to start
Gotta,
low, right down
yeah.
here, right? And
Can't just
then
go to $7 and $21 and that, you know.
exactly. No, you can't. And so it might be a long, that's the thing. Here's something I wouldn't be surprised to see. Just like we saw in 2021 with Algorand, right? Most of the market got super hot early in the spring, right? And took off, ran hot. Dogecoin was pumping in December. I mean, you had meme coins, you had people making millions in December through March. Algorand was kind of going good, but it didn't really get started until summer to late of that year. I would not be surprised that if you don't see the entire crypto market heat up early in 2025 and the meta plays right, maybe AI or whatever is the meta at the time, take off, make people millions, Dogecoin goes to $1, insane stuff happens, and then come middle to late of 2025 when after we actually see the blow off top from Bitcoin, maybe then Algorand starts to pump to 69 cents, $1, and that FOMO. But I'll be honest, I would be very leery that once it starts to get to those levels, there could be a lot of sell pressure just because of people been holding those bags for a long time, and they may be wanting to to think of different plans and options, especially based on where the sentiment is for Algorand. I know John Woods is about to speak today or tomorrow on the incentivizing of nodes. You have tons of people in the Algorand ecosystem who are excited about running their own nodes and being able to secure the network and that path to decentralization. And I do think that's bullish, but you still have to look at the grand scheme of things. Algorand is not getting the attention maybe that can really still push that, right? There's still going to have to be money that comes to flow in to actually back up this network and bring people on chain. And right now, I still think things like Solana, Base, even Avalanche,
Let me hit them with my Algorand though.
There's tons of other networks that might be able to steal that value away from something like an Algorand, just because Algorand's not the flashy new L1, right? It's honestly kind of starting to fade, or the newness of it is fading. Now. The tech is still there. The tech is still great, but the flashiness of it, especially to VCs and to big money investors, might not be there. So you just got to kind of take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and when you're talking about staking rewards or nodes, almost every major blockchain has been doing this for like many years, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember, like I never ran a node on any of the Cosmos blockchains, but I've been staking on them for like a long time and getting rewards like literally on the daily. So this is good that Algorand's finally doing it. But I agree, I'm not sure how much new money is going to flow into this because it is kind of long overdue, and we got to see how much rewards people are actually getting. Because I know they're going to be incentivizing them, and I'm sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. The foundation is going to end governance, right?
Oh, I haven't heard anything about that. But then again, my algorithmic feed on X has not been super Algorand kind of flooded, so I may have missed that update. But I did not know that they were going to be getting rid of governance. But at the end of the day, I honestly think it's a good thing. I wouldn't be.
They might as well just make their own decisions and then send the money somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't seem like the governance was ever a great thing because it just never seemed to unify the community as a whole. It seemed to honestly kind of disenfranchise some while bolstering others, and then balls would get dropped here or there, and it just would make people upset. And then that's honestly the entire reason why you had Voice start, right? So many people felt disenfranchised or upset at the foundation for the way they did certain things that they were like, we're just going to go fork, Algorand and make our own, chain with the same tech, but have our own control. And honestly, I don't think that's been a net positive, even though I'm sure Chris Swinner and Gov and all those guys would say it's a net positive. I don't see it. I even heard someone say they're actually thinking to move, I guess, to make it or bridge Voy over to an EVM chain. I don't know if they're going to build a layer two. I have no clue what the heck those guys are doing, but honestly,
I mean, I haven't saw, that many positive things because it seems like a couple like, NFT projects I was building, they went over there, but it's like, for one, I like NFTs, but they're not that lit on Algorand in the first place. And then you get a couple, random ones to build over there. That also,
I feel like if you're buying NFTs on Algorand, you're just doing it because you want to support a local artist or a person.
It's love, and I respect that. I buy something randomly off of just like, hey, I like it. I like what you're doing.
Yeah, and honestly, maybe it should be that. Maybe we should start getting out of this idea that every single, NFT project has to be this, X amount returns, and if it's not,
Yeah.
then it's not a good NFT. I think that maybe
Yeah,
is
that's where
has
I'm at.
skewed
I'm
us.
like, it's art. I like it's art on my phone, and I
Yep.
appreciate that. Like, I bought this one called it was like Crypto and Chill or Netflix and Chill. Just some like random stuff that I'm like, every once in a while you pull it up and look at it. But I'm not gonna pull this up right now because I want to bash. But the void chart too, if we want to base it off of that, not the best
Yeah.
looking thing anyway. You know what I mean?
I'll pull it
So
up. I want to see it. I want to. Let's see this. I know that they got rugged for it would drop like 70 something percent at one point,
yeah,
and then they ended up saying, "Oh no, it's fixed." And they were like, I bet it's at that little walk back up right there on October
it was
18th. You
this
can kind
one.
of see,
Yep.
yeah, it dropped, and then
It
I
went
saw
70%.
yeah, and then I saw Chris Swinner post something like, "Oh, it's fixed now because that little pump back, but look, you already right back down." Like that's the thing.
No, you right there. Yeah.
You literally left Algorand to go, throw all your money into a Algorand V2 that literally is going to slow rug you just the same way Algo did. Like, what the fuck? I don't understand.
Yeah, and then a lot of people saying they didn't get the rewards that they thought they were going to get. Running a node for a year.
I'll be honest. I turned my node off maybe 2 months before they actually launched. I would be I kind of wonder if there's any voice sitting on my wallet that I could go dump. If so, I would. But honestly, here's the funny thing is like, because
so hard,
I mean, what's the market? The market cap 7 million, so I know that it's literally
100%.
probably like $7. So it's literally not. It is not even worth me going to plug in that computer to see if there's rewards. That's how shitty
There's
that
10 billion supply. Like they got 8 billion more to come out. You know what I mean? It's like, damn. And they said no.
I mean,
VCs,
hey,
right?
yeah. I tell you this, they said no VCs, but what you did get is Chris Swinner, who's probably the ultimate VC right there.
And you got what's the name was a VC?
I mean, yeah, you got
there's
Michael
one
Arrington.
Michael
Arrington.
Yeah, he was there. He's probably him who sold. Look, here we go. Down 40%, 7 days, 14%. Yeah, 30 days down 72%.
Which is crazy because there are so many projects I'm in on base. That I put my money in. I've moved it over, and I'm up 4, 5, 6, 7x over the past 3-4 weeks. Like, and this is the thing, right? When markets flip, there are always going to be things who lead the flip, right? Dogecoin was one of those. It's always been one of those. Like
Shiba Inu came up after.
Yeah, but and maybe Shiba Inu continues to do something. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying is like if you're still betting on Algorand, honestly, in my opinion, you are betting on a dark horse. You are betting that the tech of Ethereum fails miserably, and that everyone who is building on that machine is going to crash and fall to nothing, like a Terra Luna. That's the only way, in my opinion, that the network value of Algorand grows one day to make up for the slide that it's had and the mismanagement of funds, leadership, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know.
The tough part about a bet, like betting against Ethereum, I think is over now because I've been using Base. We just brought up Base. Base is Ethereum scaled.
Yeah.
Right. And I even seen that they got and this another chain too, Osmosis, Cosmos, but they got the debit card, the Visa debit card as well that people are doing. So like I saw Luke Youngblood, shout out to him, but he was like, you stake your Bitcoin, your ETH, borrow against it, take your USDC, you can load your debit card and do what you need to do there. And then I'm like, ever since then, Bitcoin went up 20% in price. So you were already kind of like your account just keeps growing basically.
My bags on Base been going up. I take some profit out. I sent it over to Coinbase. Got my card.
And then I went and took some. You can send Coinbase from all those like 9 or 10 chains. I've done some from Algorand recently. You can send it over to Coinbase for free. Send it to Base. So now Coinbase is becoming that on and off ramp for USDC for free. And then so you load it into your card, and you never went outside of the crypto sphere. Yeah. And then you can go use your Visa card anywhere in the world. So that's something crazy. Let me see what John said. In my opinion, of course, you can make some money on older coins, but this cycle definitely going to push a lot of OGs out. Yes.
I mean,
John,
Yeah, and here's the thing: you're seeing the OGs, I would say, realize that. I mean, look at what Charles Hoskinson is doing with Cardano. He's literally trying to pivot and push Cardano as a scaling feature of Bitcoin, and try to really just stay as close up to Bitcoin as it can. Like Algorand, in my opinion, is not doing. I mean, yes, they're trying to decentralize and do things, but like I said early on in the year, this would be a huge year. But I kept saying it's like I think it's going to be too late. Like this is things that should have been done initially when, and even though Silvio didn't want it to happen, he wanted more control, whatever it is, I don't know. But it's like they fucked up and they fumbled the bag early, and now they're trying to fix those issues in hopes that all these Python developers are just going to build on Algorand because it's easy. And maybe, you know, like I say, it's dark horse. Maybe it happens, but I would not bet against the Ethereum, the Solana, juggernaut that they have this cycle, right? And definitely not this cycle. If Algorand does win, it's going to be through the bear market of next cycle, maybe. But even then, is the runway there to actually make it? And honestly, I don't think so.
My big issue, and I've been saying this probably for 2-3 years. I remember a few years I was on the space, and it was like Benedetto was on there. Shout out to him, he cool. And Chris Sweeney was on there. I was like, higher. I was like, I still got my Algorand though. I'm not a hater. But my suggestion, I made a video about this recently. I'm like, Algorand has to push the needle on borrowing, lending, spending, paying, and it has to be USDC. And they shouldn't have got rid of USDT. I don't know wherever that issue was. That's a bigger stable coin. But they need to push the limit on those. And for some reason, why do they work with MasterCard? I don't know. They should have worked with Visa. Yeah. And if you are doing that, then a platform like Folks Finance could have actually been like a moonwheel. Instead, I saw a post by Ebo. He basically, it was a funny post. He'd been making funny posts, but he basically was saying that now all the platforms are just doing liquid staking. You got 5 liquid staking derivatives. So everybody, and I saw this funny meme. It was like a bowl of staking rewards, and there's a lady drinking out the bowl, then the guy is drinking the straw out of her mouth. Like that's pretty much what is happening right now. But if they were focused on stablecoin usage and make sure you can use it in the United States as well, that would change the whole market for what. And again, we see it in real time. Moonwell just went up from almost 900 in market size from borrowing and lending.
Yeah, 900 million. And you just saw a couple of weeks ago, a massive amount of USDC even just moved off of things like Near, Algorand, and is gone. But then you see immediately after, like literally a couple of million. Exactly. It's like, it's no surprise that they see, like the writing is on the wall. And it's like, you know, if you like, I know you love Algorand, I know you love the smoothness, but at the end of the day, though, tech doesn't always win. And the funny thing was, Michael Arrington, I remember when he even wrote his big thesis on Algorand, and I don't even know if it was him, it may have been Scaramucci, right? One of the two wrote their remarks when Algorand was first kind of going in that 2021 run. And even in there, you know, he made the clause, kind of the disclaimer. It's like, hey, even with all these great things, the tech does not always win. And that is the thing. You have, you know, I think he gave the illustration of VHS versus like Beta Shop. I don't even know, whatever the big thing was back then. Yeah, where it's like sometimes Betamax, the better Betamax, Beta Shop, I have no idea, but VHS won, right? And that's the thing, is like, even though people say Ethereum's clunky, its roadmap is, you know, Algorand's already doing what it's going to try to do 5 years from now. It doesn't matter. It has attention, which is what it's the economy we're in. We are in the attention economy.
It's selective because if Algorand's just dropping those, Ethereum had that 5 years ago.
Yeah. And so
it's selective on what they talking about. But again, like I just think the game is over. I see what Jesse Pollak, we talking about going around the world. That fool and his team is everywhere, and they're getting attention.
Yeah, that's the saying. It's the attention economy. Like, have you seen anything from Stacey Warden, or I mean, obviously we're about to see something from John Woods on an interview about the
I haven't seen anything.
Incentives, but no, it seems like they've given up.
And I like Mark. Mark is he's doing a good job, but at the end of the day, he has a hard job to do.
He came in
not Google, Android. Google is lit. Yeah, this is a laggard in that type of situation. Like if he was on base right now, he would be hella lit.
Yeah. And honestly, who knows? Maybe something like Algorand, for it to become that dark horse and for it to rise from the ashes, it actually has to fully die out with. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just thinking like maybe it's got to fully die out, get rid of all the foundation people, and like it literally become a grassroots community thing that then gets built through, like I say, through the next bear market and actually grows into something that can contend one day. But like I said,
it is undeniable. Like I said, I still got money on there and Algorand. I still use it like daily at the end of the day because I like the stable coins and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it is hard because the compatibility,
you feel siloed. You feel siloed in that ecosystem.
Siloed, yep. And
because it's like, if you really want to use it, at least if you're in the United States, you got to send it back to Coinbase if you want to do anything, really.
And that's what I do. And I send it back to Coinbase when I need to do something. And
then you look over at Base and you see all the memes and everything popping. You're like, it's like that meme that guy was like,
looking over at the
maybe.
and then and the way that I don't know. And then I saw, I don't know. It's just there's things there that, because make me think of back to Void. Like Void, which they're not even like in the Algorand ecosystem. They're not working with Algorand like you would think. Like Optimism working with Base and Velo, all that stuff is kind of mingling with each other. Void is like, we're gonna take you out and take all your market share. Then they took 5 or 6 people, and then. You know what I mean? And then they kind of alienated a lot of people. I don't know if Coop still makes videos about them or whatnot, but like,
I don't know. I don't really know if anybody is, because there's like, what are you gonna like? I have no idea.
So there's 5-6 years behind Algorand. Algorand has a billion, a billion in market cap, and it has all the events and all the money. And I think they're doing a great job in places like India, Nigeria right now, but also at the same time, they are now, competing with Base out in Kenya, Bases in India.
It's not even that you're competing with them. You're competing with the big liquidity and money, which is BlackRock. And BlackRock is behind Coinbase and Base and Ethereum. Like that's where the ETFs are. That's where all these tokenized securities at one point are going to be. Like
they need to get a meeting with Larry Fink.
I mean, they got to do something. They got to do something with somebody who's got big money, because right now money's leaving. But anyways, let's talk about some bullish things. Where do you see the next 3 months, right? Do you think, just through the holidays, we're going to see a big run? Do you think we're going to pause a little bit until, the beginning of the year? I know back in 2020, right? That's when I first bought my first crypto, which was Dogecoin. It was November of 2020.
Mine was December. I bought XRP.
And November, I think I did see a decent pump initially. That's why I took profit way too fucking early. And then really we saw then a kind of a lull until like February. And then everything just ran crazy hot through February.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. It was just insane. So I don't know. That's kind of where we're at now. And obviously I think a lot hinges on Bitcoin and where it goes from here. But I think if we see Bitcoin run to 80 something K through November and start to set those kind of new all-time highs, I think it's going to play out the same. I think we're going to see very bullish price action for ETH and alts.
Yeah, I'll say here's my thesis is definitely Ethereum is about to get the money.
Yeah.
The Ethereum is about to
pull up that chart.
More.
Pull up Ethereum's chart. Yeah, I know we looked at Ethereum to Bitcoin, but
Ethereum has been waiting. It's been trading at 2,500 for like forever, but Ethereum is ready to go. The sentiment is still bullish, a little bearish more, but I think Ethereum is ready to shoot off just based on, how long it's been. Bitcoin, I think, still got more energy. I'm like, unfortunately, Solana, I think, still has great energy, but then I think it comes back down to a casino for Solana, chasing random coins. A lot of people are going to be doing that.
Let's see.
And then we have.
All right. So here's the Ethereum chart.
Base
and
coins.
Yeah, and obviously you could even draw like a, just a right there, something along that line of just a trend line. You could also bring it down here and just look at this trend since the bear market kind of, the FTX crash was over through here. This is really where Ethereum's been. You had that really nice pop where it looked like, that's when Bitcoin ran to 74K. Obviously, Ethereum has traded a lot different. If Ethereum could have stayed up in this window, it would have literally been trading almost the same as Bitcoin in a way. But obviously, this is where you had that deviation where Solana kind of kept going up, but Ethereum kind of had a falling out. But like I said, you're bouncing off this trend line that's been support. You just cleared, in my opinion, you zoom in here, and Ethereum has had these big weekly pops. This is the weekly chart. It's had these massive weekly pops, but then the next week sometimes has been equally negative. And I think this is where you're seeing a change, right? It's busted through. And the last time when, you see this stuff where, Ethereum pops up, but then boom, 2 weeks down, and then boom, we're popping back up, but then it runs. And this thing, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, guys, 5 weeks of bullish price action. And then you're pretty much in a bear market. That's what you have to think about right now. If you're someone who's bullish on ETH, that doesn't mean we're bullish on ETH for, and it's just going to go up continually forever and ever and ever and ever, and you don't take any profits. No, this is where you really need to, as some people will say it, lock in, right? And watch this thing. Because now that we've just broken out of here, right, there is a very big chance that we could see a 5 week, 4 or 5 weeks of bullishness for ETH, sets new all-time highs, maybe gets something crazy up to 5, 6K. I know some people are saying, we're going to 10, 12K.
10.
Don't know.
10.
Yeah, don't know if we'll see that yet, but I definitely think the next target for Ethereum is to get to these levels pretty quick, up to 3,800, blow through them, and start challenging new all-time highs for Ethereum, which would be 5,000. I mean, looking around 4 to 5K. But that's going to be bullish. I mean, the stochastic RSI, obviously, you have a break as well here from getting above the 50 line. That's bullish. Even if there's some short-term, consolidation right here before the, bigger move up, I think it's coming. And then obviously, last chart I think is smart to look at is the dollar, right?
Dollar been pumping.
It had a massive tear, right, leading into elections. But I think we have topped out. I mean, this candle right now, I would say, is very indecisive, right? Could go either way. But I do think the ultimate goal for the dollar and the ultimate trend that we're seeing is for, let me see here if I can, where's my shapes at? Geometric. I think the ultimate, if you zoom out far enough, obviously at 100 is where it's been hitting support. But I think once we come down again, I think we're going to fall through this support. I think we're going to have a bearish retest right here. And I'd ultimately say, down here, more likely is where the dollar's heading. And if you look at the monthly, chart on this, I think that's, you'll see what I'm talking about more clearly, right? Because as, when it fell below this area last time, you had some consolidation there, boom, fell all the way down to 71. So I definitely think that down here near this 80 target, and that would be, that would also set the stage for a pretty bullish alt season.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I think definitely we want to see the dollar. As an American, I want to see the dollar go up, but also for my cryptos, I want investments. I want to see the dollar go down.
Yeah,
because Warren Buffett need to put some more money into the market.
I mean, hey, that's the thing. It's like if the dollar goes down, it means your assets went up, and so then you swap your assets, your crypto assets, for the USDC or your whatever stable coin you like, and then you ride that through the strength of the next bear market. You hold something that is trusted, like the dollar or Bitcoin, whatever you want to put your trust in there, and then then you look for opportunities again. And that's the thing. It's like, this has been a long 4-year cycle. I think everyone thought a super cycle. So I think everyone after the 22 bear market just thought that Bitcoin was going to rip into 2023 and 2024. Obviously, it's been a lot longer for many people. They didn't expect this long, drawn out, 2024 to 2025 cycle, which is funny. You talked about bringing JT back on. I remember back in 2022 when we had JT on the show, he was literally showing that the blow off top for Bitcoin could be November of 2025. And that's what I'm saying when I was saying earlier with Algorand is like, if memes and a lot of crazy things start pumping through the winter and spring of this, coming cycle, we still may not see the actual blow off top until, after the summer lull, right? You may get that summer lull again, like we saw this year. And then, he may actually been right on. And he was only going based off of all the historical data of Bitcoin with the 4-year cycles. And I think a lot of people, every single time I've been saying the 4-year cycles are a bust. So far, it's literally going exactly on schedule. So
yeah. And I want to say, because I know Algorand people be salty sometimes, it's much love though. But we are being critical of all of these chains and cryptos right now.
It's critical. Like I'll say this, I'm critical, and I can be critical because I've been here. I've been in this community. I was literally there
For
with
years.
everyone. I've held
Yeah.
algo down to literally almost nothing. Yes, I did move some value out of Algorand because I saw opportunity elsewhere, but I'm critical of it because I actually want to see it succeed. But I think that,
Facts.
I just think that the changes that needed to happen happened too late, and it's still yet to be seen if the changes that are going to happen will have any effect going forward, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
Honestly, I
definitely.
still think it depends on how successful Ethereum and Solana are at scaling. And so far, Ethereum has shown it can scale some through its layer twos, but there's also cracks in the armor, right? There is cracks in this whole scaling of the layer twos now competing for fees and competing against Ethereum's layer one. And honestly, we don't know security wise how that's going to play out in the coming years. So like I say, there's still a road where Algorand can win, but we'll see on, if Vitalik can continue and the developers behind Ethereum, Solana can beat, can outpace maybe the issues and the failures that their chains have.
Facts. And I would add that, like, looking at this right here, the final thing I want to say about the pro crypto candidates, you got 263 to 116 that are elected in the House, and then you have 18 to 12. I would also, if I was a blockchain, I would now start talking to these pro crypto candidates.
Yeah.
I would
Gotta
get
get
all
money
in their meetings. Yeah,
Yep. We got to get
Rokon and all
money.
these guys.
PACs, super
Yeah,
PACs got to be
PACs.
formed. We have to, like that's the
yeah.
biggest thing moving forward for
E-Rec
future
Alliance need to
elections.
put a bag together.
Yeah. Got to make sure that these politicians know that crypto's here to stay. Crypto's important. It's needed, and the right, the right regulation can really put the United States in a very, very favorable spot heading into, this super cycle that I think we're about to be in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that will be the final play there. But much love. Anything else you got?
Nah, thanks to anybody for joining in. I know we've kind of been hit or miss on some weeks. I know C. Will had his first son, a couple months back or a month back. How old's your son now?
He just hit a month on Monday, 4 weeks on Monday.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's 4 weeks. I don't sleep, y'all. I'm tired right now.
Yeah. So, but hey, we appreciate you still jumping in. We appreciate anyone who watches this. If you're watching it live, if you're watching it on X, thank you so much. If you're watching it, replaying it later on tonight or during the week, much love to everybody who supported us, through these past couple of years. So it means a lot, and it's always been fun.
Always a pleasure. Until the next show, y'all. Have a good one.